it's Lindy. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I am so excited to be here. St. Patrick's Day is coming up and we have some really great treats in store for you over the next couple of weeks. You know, St. Patrick's Day is one of those holidays that some people celebrate, some don't, but it's always fun to have a little special treat for the loved ones in your life. And I don't know about you, but finding that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow would be a wonderful treat. So we're gonna make literal pots of gold today. We have a chocolate cookie. I will post the recipe in the description of this video when I get off of my live, okay? It is basically a sugar cookie dough. This is a really hearty cookie. It does not have baking soda or baking powder in it, okay? So keep that in mind when you are making this recipe. If you're watching right now, let me know where you're watching from, and of course, I always appreciate if you share the video as well. So I've pre-made my cookie dough, that way you guys didn't have to hear my mixer going off while we were live. In order to make these cookies, you're gonna need a couple things. You're going to need the cookie dough that I've pre-made, frosting that I've pre-made, it's back here. You can also buy store-bought frosting if that's what you prefer. You're going to need some little mini yellow M&Ms. So what I did is I bought a canister of mini M&Ms and picked out the yellow ones. Now, your pots of gold could be any color if you don't want to waste the others, or mom might need to keep these in her pocket in case she has a rough night, right? Or the kiddos can eat them. And then we need our rainbows. So I found these at Walmart. They're called Airhead Extremes. They're sour candy, and we're gonna be using these for our rainbows. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take about 2 tablespoons of cookie dough or cookie batter. And I have a medium-sized scoop that I'm using. It happens to be a 2 tablespoon scoop. Hey, Lucia, how are you? If you don't have a 2 tablespoon, and you have a mini one, it would be the equivalent to 2 mini scoops. Or if you have a cupcake scooper, it would be a little bit smaller than that, okay? You're going to want to use parchment or something like that on your cookie sheet, and I already have mine ready over here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dough, and again, this is a very thick dough. This is not a runny dough at all. Do not refrigerate it before baking, otherwise it's going to be very hard to scoop, okay? So 2 tablespoons. I'm going to put some sugar right here in a bowl, and I'm going to roll this into a ball. And then I'm going to roll these cookies into the bowl of sugar. All right. Where are you guys watching from today? Let me know. I see a couple of my Texas friends online watching right now. So it's kind of like a cookie, what are those called? A cracked cookie is what they're called. All right, and so I'm gonna make as many of these as I can with my dough. And if you don't want them all to be pots of rainbows with pots of gold, then you don't have to do that, of course. So we're going to put them on our prepared cookie sheet. Now comes the fun part, okay? You're gonna take a wooden spoon or something like that to use the end. Hey, Terry, how are you? My wooden spoon is not round on the end. It's actually rectangular. So I found this little cheese spreading knife that is blunt on the end. And all you're gonna do, whoa, my cookies are rolling, is you're going to take it and you're gonna push it down into your dough in order to create that pot of gold, okay? Yes, Lucia, I love that you watch me all the way from Italy. How is the weather over there right now? So it's gonna look just like this. A crinkle cookie, thank you, Terry. I could not think of the name of it. You're going to bake these at 350 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes, kind of depending on your oven, okay? When they come out, they're gonna look like this. Now, when I got them out of the oven and they were still warm, I took this little tool again, which again, it's just a little cheese knife. You can use the end of a wooden spoon, something like that. And I pushed it one more time just to help indent that, because that's where we're gonna put our little gold, okay? Hey, Joanne. Now, we need some white frosting. Again, I already made my frosting. And we also need our piping bags, okay? Now, if you don't have all of the frosting tips and things like that I do, don't worry. You can use a Ziploc. It doesn't have to have the piping tip to be able to make these, okay? If you're wanting to make them like me, you need piping bags. It doesn't really matter what brand. You just need some kind of frosting bag. And today I'm using a small coupler and Wilton tip number 18, which is just a very small open star. Hopefully you guys can see that. Sunny and cold from Italy. Oh, at least it's sunny, right? It makes it a little bit more bearable. Okay, you're going to put the large part of the small coupler into the frosting bag, push it down as far as it'll go, and then you're going to make a little mark between the ribbed part and the end. So then you know where to cut the bag off. Okay, so slide that back, cut the bag off. You're going to put tip number 18 on it. Hi Delpha, how are you? And then you're going to go ahead and screw the top down tight. Okay, a couple of tips when using piping bags. When you are filling them, you want to fold your bag about halfway down like this in order to fill it without it making a huge, huge mess, okay? So I'm gonna fill it about halfway with frosting. If I overfill it, then it oozes up out of the top and it's not a pretty sight, all right? So I'm gonna slide that and I'm going to push it down. And as I'm pushing it down, I'm holding the bag between my thumb and my pointer finger, and then I'm going to twist it, okay? And we're just gonna be making the star motion. If you've never done this before, you can practice on wax paper, and you can then scrape it off and put it back in the bowl and reuse it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put a little bit in the center to hold our M&Ms, and then we're gonna put clouds on each side, okay? Before I start frosting, I wanna go ahead and get my airheads ready so I can get everything done at once. Now, you're gonna wanna cut your airheads into about 3-inch strips. And a lot of times bigger is better, but let me tell you, when you're making rainbows with airheads, bigger is not better, because if it's bigger, your rainbow will fall. It is not going to stay held up. Trust me from experience on that one. Okay, so 3-inch strips, they're about 6 inches, so you're gonna cut them in half if you bought the same ones as me. Okay, oh, my mouth is watering from the sour. Do you guys do that when you start smelling something sour, like the sour candy? Oh, it's making my mouth water. Okay, so I'm gonna put just a little bit of frosting down in the bottom of my cookie, okay? And I'm gonna add some of my gold on top of it. And the frosting just helps it stay in place a little bit. Plus, I mean, frosting makes everything better, right? So there's my little pot of gold. And then I'm gonna add some clouds on one side, and I'm just making little stars, and I'm gonna add some clouds on the other side so it looks like this, okay? Now, you wanna make sure that you put your gold in your pot before you add the rainbow, because you can make your rainbow fall down. Okay, so now it's time to add our rainbow. We're going to stick our strip of sour candy into one cloud, loop it over onto the other cloud, and curve it, and make that little rainbow. If you want a little more, you can try to tuck your gold in here. And here's our little pot of gold cookies. Super easy. You can make the cookies ahead of time and freeze them, and then just the day of, go ahead and frost them and add the rainbows. The rainbows cannot be added a really long time ahead, because, especially depending on how humid it is where you live, the rainbows will fall, okay? So again, remember, longer is not better for your rainbows, because you want it to be able to curve across, but not be so big that it falls down, okay? So here's our little pot of gold at the end of the rainbow cookies. I wanted to also let you guys know that our Baking with Lindy group is back open and available for March enrollment. In February, I taught our holidayzers how to make a chocolate cake with a chocolate cage and mocha frosting and chocolate covered strawberries, and I gave out my personal baking recipes from when I had my bakery, and it was similar to one that I used on Cupcake Wars many years ago. And so March enrollment is open. It's $33 for the year, which means you would get it from March until the next until the end of January of 2021. That seems so far off. And in order to pay for that, I gave the PayPal link. You just directly pay us through PayPal if you're interested in that. And it's a private Facebook group. You can ask me one-on-one questions if you need help. Our holidays are shared pictures of the cakes they made, and it's a more in-depth video. The video was, I think, around 45 minutes for the last one, and it shows everything from absolute start to finish. So if you're interested in something like that and getting a little bit more information and hands-on experience, then that is the group for you guys to join, okay? So thank you so much for joining me. I hope everyone finds a pot of gold at the end of their rainbow for St. Patrick's Day. I'll see you guys later. Bye.